is the survival of the individual in the midst of his own progress. If he doesn't survive, what does progress mean? Progress cannot always be fighting ourselves, struggling against the weaknesses of our own lives. It can never be a continuation to eternity of our fears and doubts about providence, about the future, about war and peace. There has to be something more important than this. And if more people would try to understand some of these principles, life would be a lot easier for most people. So try this concept of the Zen archery principle in handling the day's work. One thing you can do in thinking through this a little is to look back over your own life somewhat and realize that there have been days when you have handled your problems pretty well. What was peculiar about those days? Why were they better than other days? Well, you say to yourself, perhaps I got up feeling a little better that morning, more optimistic, something went a little better, or I had some good news that made it easier. But whatever it is, try to find out what it was that made some days bright and other days not bright, when life conditions were just about the same. And I think we'll find, as we do a little research, largely our own attitudes. We got up one morning, we got a little irritated when we got up. Some small problem got us started off the wrong way. From that time, the whole day was no good. Another day, we sort of got up a little bit better. The day was better. So if we find the morning starting with what looks to be a negative problem, then we've got to stop that problem right then and there before it has a chance to wreck the day. This business of going on and soaking in this problem is of no value to anyone. We have to conserve our energy, we have to integrate as much as we can, and we have to try to use the most constructive attitudes that we possess to direct us throughout every day of living. The best government is when the wisest rules all men. The best government in ourselves is when the wisest part of ourselves is in authority. And the wisest part of ourselves is very often a very simple part. The gentle part, the kindly part, the relaxed part. In this same problem of trying to find some type of detached tranquility in which to work, Zen goes into other areas of thinking also. Zen is always close to the idea of the hobby. The hobby or the avocation is a great help because it breaks the continuity of thought. And when we break a negative chain of thought, we have weakened it. And wherever we can break a negative chain by doing something else, we should do so. The person who is mentally, emotionally inclined to be very sick is nearly always an individual who has no hobbies, no outlets, no avocational interests, no contrasts. They are living along one pattern exclusively. Now, another thing that Zen warns us about is this deadly seriousness of life. Zen is a religion. It is also a philosophy. And no one can deny that Zen is serious business. Yet Zen is forever warning the individual against the seriousness of his own thinking. Zen is forever telling him that seriousness can kill him without accomplishing any good whatsoever. Let us consider for a moment the seriousness of some people who have come to the conclusion that the good life must be a painfully thoughtful existence all the time. These individuals become afraid that anything that is not serious will be used against them in the cosmos. such is not the case at all. Zen art is forever reminding us of the vanity of this serious, dignified attitude. The Zen monk has a dignity about him, but it is utterly uncultivated. He is never trying to be dignified. What he is striving for most of all is to be free from himself, to be free entirely from any measure of his own attitude, so that we mustn't forget that one of our troubles in modern Western living is the fact that we take things with great seriousness, when actually most of the things we are most concerned about have very little substance to them. Let the Zen with his koan, therefore, take some situation as, what about the man who is deadly afraid that unless he is serious, he is going to hazard his own salvation? That the only way he can hope to ultimately become all-wise and all-good is to dispose of all frivolity and settle down to the murderous process of self-improvement. Zen has the perfect answer for this, namely that the perfect individual, by perfection, having ended the Mahaparinirvana, does not know whether he is perfect or not, and nobody cares. Perfection is not what he is seeking for, because Zen does not believe in perfect people. Zen does not believe that the individual can make salvation a job. He doesn't think of life in that way at all. He is not hoping for heaven. He is not trying to evade hell. These things are only terms which he believes some people use to frighten themselves with. To Zen, the victory is not this desperate seriousness. The victory is the simple process of being able to sit down in the garden and be one with life, to be one with things that man has nothing to do with, primarily. And in order to do this, the individual must get over within himself the things which he has had to do with, and become one again with a kind of a universal pattern of things. This universal pattern answers a lot of questions. It answers them in such a large, deep way that you can't entirely evade the consequences. The old Zen monk, for instance, sitting quietly by the side of his little waterfall, watching the fish jump in the pool, he says to himself, "Today I am here. But tomorrow the stone is empty. Where am I?" That's the question. And he will say, well, probably if I am not here, I won't know where I am. And where I am isn't going to be very important. If I have disappeared from this sphere of life, I have also left behind all the things that have to do with this sphere of life. But if there's any memory that I want to take out of this world, perhaps the most beautiful memory would be the waterfall. The very gentle afternoon sun and the bringing out the morning glories, or bringing out all the wonderful flowers that you see. What else is there? My relatives? They're not really relatives. They're souls like I am, here, gone, no one knows where. Business? Don't worry about it. There will always be someone who will want to take it, and who will also come in the end to sit in a garden and figure out how to get rid of it. And being a kindly, good-natured man, this man will leave it to his sons after he has found it was unendurable for himself, and will consider that he is doing them a favor. These things happen. There are wars, bombs. Terrible things devastate the universe. But there is either the garden